I'd like to talk to you about things that will shift the demand curve. I have 5 things written up here. In fact, I just drew 3 green people, and they're going to help me in talking about shifts in demand. So I drew the case of an increase in demand. And let's say because of the increase in demand, we would normally expect, here's our original demand. We have the new higher demand up here. And let me draw a line just to make sure it's clear. Oh, come on, line. Or at least an arrow. So this is demand curve shifted to the right. So at any given price, people are willing to spend or buy more. Or at any given quantity, people are willing to pay a higher price for it. So either way, people are looking at the marginal benefit from buying this product is going up. Kind of cool, huh? So let's talk about tastes and preferences. Here's our 3 people. Let's say I put 400, but let's make it a little, you know, um, yeah, let's just use $400. Let's say we're looking at starting out with, let's say we're looking at what's something about $400? Let's say a computer. And this computer, this person, let's say, is willing to pay 500. This person's willing to pay 400. So he's indifferent about buying it at the $400 price. And let's say this person's willing to pay 300. So this person's down here. This is our old demand curve before we shift it. So the $500 person would be up here somewhere on the demand curve. This middle person's right here at the equilibrium price, kind of indifferent between buying it or not. And this person at 300, well, he's not willing to pay the price, so he doesn't get the computer. So he's down here in the lower portion of the demand curve. So sorry, guy, not willing to pay the price. But these two are. And this one gets a really good deal, so he's really happy. Yay! Oh, well, okay, so he doesn't have any eyes, but he's really happy about this computer. Okay. Now, let's say they taste and preferences. They say, hey, we love these computers. We're willing to, you know, maybe they're the latest thing, like this is the cool computer, or something else has changed their taste and preferences. Also, this person, instead of paying 5, 4, and 3, let's say this person's now willing to pay 600, 500. Let's just increase each one by $100. So cause shift out. And this is 400. Well, now this person's 400. If the price stays at 400, he says, I get a computer. But a lot of people want computers, and now at 100, that line's not there anymore. But the supply curve, if the price doesn't go up, firms are only willing to make 100 computers, and people might want, well, let's say 125 is our equilibrium, so people want more. I'm going to put this in red just to differentiate. People want more than what's available right there. So instead of 100, they say we want, that's not a very straight line, but let's assume it is. Let's say we want 175. Well, if the price doesn't start going up, we're going to have a shortage of 75 computers. Well, that's going to put pressure on price to go up. So price goes up. Let's say the price goes to $450 a computer. Sorry, guy. He still doesn't get a computer. He's still sad. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't do that in red. That doesn't. So, oops, didn't mean to get rid of his head. Okay, let's give him his head back. So, but he still doesn't get the computer because the price mechanism says, one way we can get it to the people who value it the most, people who value it the most are the ones who are willing to pay the most, is price tends to go up. We get rid of those shortages, and only how many people are willing to, firms are producing it, what people, people are willing to pay $450 or more, get the computer. Well, so this is 600, he gets the computer, she gets the computer, and he does not. Okay, so taste and preference. Taste and preferences could be quite a few different things, such as taste and preferences would include, I remember years ago, popular items, like you often see fashions in art, fashions in toys. I was at a Thanksgiving meal years ago in the 1980s, and I was in graduate school, and people were talking about these cabbages. And they said, we need a cabbage. And I was like, why are they plotting this purchasing behavior for cabbages? And they said, well, these are Cabbage Patch Kids, and everybody wants a Cabbage Patch Kid. And I was like, why not get a Pumpkin Patch Kid or something else? And then, no, it's Cabbage Patch. Okay. And so they plotted their strategy, and they were able to buy them, and it was just really, they were really excited about that interesting looking doll. And so a lot of different things. Let's go on to changing the number of buyers. Let's say we have, well, these people, let's say we go back to the original. And so we're not the 600, 500, 400. Let's say it's still 400, 500, 400, and 300. But now we have a new buyer. Let's say it's industry is expanding in that city. These are apartment rents. You could rent for $400, pretty cheap in some cities. Other cities not as cheap. But now it's going to be, well, it's still 400. We have this new person move in. Let's say he's willing to pay up to 500. And so in this case, these two people are willing to pay 500, 400. This person says, I'm willing to pay 300. And so now this person comes in at 500. Demand curve shifts out, and actually a bunch of people come in at 500. This person's able to get an apartment. And if these two are already in apartments, price as apartments has gone up to 450. This person wasn't finding an apartment before and is still maybe living with his parents or living some way else. But this person says, hey, if he has an apartment, maybe the rent hasn't gone up, but now he's going to start paying $400 a month. Now he's going to start paying $450. And he says, I'm not willing to pay $450. So he's very unhappy about these people moving into the city, causing his rent to go up. So he might move in with, they might have more roommates or some way to conserve on this now more scarce good. And so what do? Well, one other way that they might try this person now who's upset. So I'm going to get rid of his very slight smile. See if make sure I don't get rid of. Oh no, I got rid of his head. In fact, in World War II, when a lot of people were moving into New York City, people got very upset about these new people moving into the defense industries. They actually set price ceilings. It was a temporary measure for going on 70 years now or something. Yeah, pretty close to 70 years, temporary measure. And so they said, so there's one of the reasons it's hard to find an apartment in New York City. They have rent control. But right now we're not going to put rent control. He just has to figure out some way how to conserve on this scarce resource. And prices help us conserve on scarce resources. And so let's go on to the next one, change in income. Well, let's say that we have higher income. So this person, if it's normal good, each one's willing to pay more. So instead of 500, 600, 400, 500. So, here's their apartments. Now they're willing to pay more for apartments. And so, and also, but it might be computers, or I'll get a second computer. So there's higher demand for computers. Computer prices can go up. And holding everything else constant, supply curve stays the same, when actually often the supply curve is shifting at the same time, but we're going to hold it the same. So we're just going to give people higher income, and they are willing to buy more computers, buy more steak, buy more a lot of different things. And so, or they might increase the demand for the nicer apartments. And so the price goes up, and people buy more. Notice before we couldn't buy 175, so at higher prices, firms are willing to produce more, people buy less, and they conserve on the resource. That would be for a normal good. What about an inferior good? Well, for an inferior good, the price incomes have to go down. Well, if incomes go down, now people are willing to buy more. So for example, ramen noodle, if my income goes down, I'm not going to buy as many high quality, or like steak. Ramen noodles are pretty high quality, but now I'm willing to buy more for ramen noodles. I was buying $500 ramen noodles. Now that my income's gone up, I'm willing to pay, now my income's gone down. Can't really afford, I'm going to buy the secondhand clothing. I'm going to buy a cheaper apartment. So my demand for things, my demand's gone up because my income's gone down. So normal good, So if income goes up, demand goes up if it's a normal good. If it's an inferior good, income goes down, and then demand's going to go up. And this is inferior. So I'm going to put INF for inferior goods, and this is normal goods. I'll just call it norm for normal. Changing the price of a related good. Substitutes or complements. Now, the case of a related good. Now, it can't be the price itself, because if the price of this good goes up from 400 to 450, and that's all, I just have this point right here. Because the demand curve is, well, the way you find the demand curve is raise or lower the price and seeing how much people will buy. So it's got to be a price of something else. So let's say we have the price of another computer manufacturer. Other computers raise their prices. So if their demand goes up, so let's say I'm Hewlett Packard, and all the other computer manufacturers raise their price. Well, and I don't. I leave mine at 400. People are more likely to want to buy my computers. That'd be kind of cool if everybody else would raise their price and then come to mine. Or if I'm Pepsi, if Coca-Cola would raise their price, I would get a lot of people. So let's put this case here. So let's say this is other computer manufacturers raise their prices, so their prices go up. This company over here, my price stays the same. I have all these people coming in and say, hey, we'd like to buy your product. That's substitute goods. So let's check off substitutes. Let's go to complements. Classic example of complements would be the case of hot dogs and hot dog buns. Things that are used together. So if I tend to eat a hot dog with a bun, at least in the United States, other cultures would probably have other examples. We would tend to find that if hot dog prices go down, this demand goes up. Likewise, we tend to find cars are complements to, actually they're both substitutes and complements for airline travel. So if airline prices go up, demand for rental cars would probably go down on average because they're complements because, as we see, most rental car agencies are in airports. So in order to get an increase in demand for rental cars, it's nice when airlines lower their prices. So more people are flying and more people are coming to get the rental cars. Price of buyers' expectations. Price expectations. I was at a gas station during the original Gulf War. I was filling up my gas tank, and the person who worked at this gas station came out and said the price of gasoline was going to go up 50 cents a gallon that night. What did I do? Well, I was concerned. I didn't want to pay 50 cents more a gallon, so I filled up that car, went and filled up my other car. Went and drove by the next day and found that price of gasoline had gone up 5 cents. So they were probably laughing, like, we just increased that demand, the economist demand curve. That is so funny. And it kind of is. So if you expect the price to go up in the future, I want to buy it now before it goes up, which tends to help increase the demand for the goods, so the price tends to go up. Sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Income expectations. If I've been hired but haven't yet got paid, I think my income's going to go up, so I'm going to want to buy more normal goods now. So those are some of the things that will shift the demand curve.